Scotland, first win over France in France since 1999. Wales, Six Nations champions. France ultimately disappointed, I would say, with the result. Go over the game, some of the key moments, some of the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this final game of what was a very entertaining and I would say successful Six Nations has gone. The rain was coming down pretty heavy early on in this game, which was definitely a factor, and maybe didn't lend itself well to France trying to chase down, 20 points. But they didn't seem to have like the mentality, France, of we have to, win by 21 points from the get-go. Like they opted for threes early, which is, people will question that, but that's maybe equally risky to tell yourself you have to win by 20 points and start playing kind of, throw every offload that's not even on and play really risky rugby from the get-go. So, I don't know. But they didn't seem to be wanting to chase early. They wanted to get the win, which they didn't actually end up getting anyway. But yeah, it was tentative. Some good kicks from both sides. Finn Russell put in a good kick. And Tamak had a good kick. First 5 minutes or so was both sides kind of feeling each other out. Duhan van der Merwe got caught back in his own in goal after France put a nice little kick through. He had to kind of sweep through, ended up carrying the ball back into his own in goal area, got caught and tackled, couldn't get out of it. So France had a 5-meter scrum. That scrum wins a penalty, 3 points to nil. That's what I mean about them opting for the three. 11 minutes, Scotland with their own penalty, which was probably kickable. Hoggy's got a pretty big boot on him. They opted for a maul. The maul won a penalty. They went to the line out again. They mauled it. They went through some phases, and it ended up being a try to the big man Duhan van der Merwe. He busted up over the line. Now, interestingly, when they replayed that try in slow motion, and I brought my small TV closer to me this time, so hopefully I had a better look at it. I've been missing a couple of things recently, but I think this one was kind of clear. Now, what's tough to know is because they showed the replay in slowed down time, slow motion. It looked like Duhan goes to ground, the ball is short, and then there's like a bit of a delay, and then the ball goes over. I know he's allowed time to place it, but it did have the look of a double movement about it, to be honest. But Wayne Barnes is right there, and he sees it in real time if he actually saw the grounding. I don't know. It didn't look great, at least in slow motion, from what I saw. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on that one. That may be a wee bit of a talking point. Fortunately, it was early in the game. It's not like the last play of the game, which would make it the only talking point. But yeah, Scotland go in front. It's 3 points to 7. And then 17 minutes, Scotland put in a great kick to put France under pressure. France a bit casual, going back for the ball. Like the ball's behind the guys. The guys need to run back and get the ball, maybe kick it back to Scotland, but they're a bit casual to get caught, and they end up conceding a penalty. Didn't cost them any points in that situation, though. 20 minutes, Hogg put in a really great kick, and that's what I mean. Like it feels like a weird one to be going on about the kicking, but the kicks were that good. It put France like right onto their own 5-meter line, under heaps of pressure. So Scotland, kind of for the first 20 minutes, had the majority of the momentum, you'd have to say. But then on about 25 minutes, France really start to step it up a notch. They win a penalty at the breakdown, and then they won a penalty at the resulting scrum. And I thought, here's a bit of a momentum shift. They kick a penalty to make it 6 points to 10, and then that's where they really start to turn the screws. They get another penalty at scrum time. Scotland conceded another penalty at the kickoff. It was like a real flurry of penalties with Scotland conceding one after another. There was a high tackle. It must have been 4 or 5 penalties in a row for Scotland, some of them down their own end. And I was thinking, at some point the ref needs to warn, this Wayne Barnes, needs to warn Scotland about the penalty count. But it didn't really come. Yeah, it was a surprising one, because usually in any game you watch, you concede several penalties in quick succession down your own end, you get a warning, but it didn't happen. Eventually, the French do convert their try. They get one through Dulin, and it was a wide pass from Dupont to Pernod. Pernod gets it back inside from Pinot, so Dulong goes over for the try. There's a wee bit of handbags on 39 minutes and a yellow card for Scotland. I think this is the one that's coming from the kind of repeated infringement, so he spends 10 minutes in the bin. France do get a line out right before halftime with the extra man. They kick that, they go for the maul, or they're looking like they're going to set for more, but they can't even win the line out. So it's a bit of a let-off. Good work from Scotland to be, kind of still keeping the game very tight. Like, they executed well in their own dominant period at the start of the game. France did the same, but neither side really buckled too much under the pressure in that first half. First half stats, possession 58-42 to France, territory 50-50, time and opposition 22. France spent 4 minutes and 17 seconds in the Scottish 22, whereas Scotland spent 1 minute and 43 seconds. So this is what I mean about, like, France were really turning the screws. They were putting the Scots under a heap of pressure, so that they did well to hold. Handling errors was 5-3, with France having a couple more. 43 minutes, France go like 7 phases on attack. Scotland do really well to win a penalty at the breakdown, so their defence holds. Remember, their defence has been a key part in their performances in the Six Nations this year. When you look back at the results for Scotland, maybe you look back with a bit of regret, but anyway, we'll get to that a bit later. Pinot does get a try in 46 minutes. Vakatawa beats a defender. Great offload. Pinot chips and doesn't regather it on the first instance. He kind of uses his feet to propel the ball forward. He kicks it again, and he regathers it to score it. And it was all from Dulong at the back, taking a mark and then quickly tapping it to counter. So it was really exciting play from the French. It was really great to see. And at that point, they make it 18 points to 10. Now, they missed the conversion. And interestingly, I think Wayne Barnes is overheard saying if they hadn't scored, it would have been a penalty try. So it's kind of 2 points. 2 points that France lost on that occasion. But anyway, that is what it is. 48 minutes, Finn Russell goes for a drop goal from pretty far out. He had the distance, but not quite the accuracy. But it helped kill down a few more minutes in that yellow card time. Remember, they've only conceded 5 points during the yellow card. And then Scotland on 52 kick a penalty to make it 18 points to 13. Hey, boss. All right, my couch has just been delivered. That was a bit distracting. Where was I up to? Finn Russell drop goal attempt goes wide. Scotland do kick a penalty on 52 to make it 18-13. It's really end-to-end stuff, man. Pinot has a proper, good run from a kick return. It's just Russell have a big kick down the other end. The scoreline's not that high in the scheme of things, but the excitement factor is certainly still there. Scotland, kind of the same way as France did in the first half, they do a reversal. They start to turn the pressure up about 20 minutes into the second half as well. They start winning penalties in the French half. France go on a yellow card warning. And then right on the hour mark, Cherry gets a try. He's got a bit of white line fever recently after a couple of tries the other week. There's a maul, the ball pops out of it, and his reaction times are phenomenal. He should have been a goalie in another sport, because he picks the ball up from a pretty awkward position, and he manages to pop over the line for a try. It looked like the TMO had to look at it for bloody ages, but it come off a French hand, so there was no knock on from Scotland in the build-up. So, a really good try. Rebage, though, replied with his own one on 66 minutes, and that one was a bit soft. If you're a Scottish fan, you look back at that one and go, man, we didn't really put up too much of a fight compared to every other try, which has been kind of really a lot of effort or a bit of magic to have to work for. That one will be the softest one. France is going through some phases and finding too much space. That's just 23 points to 20. Scotland on 68 have a 5-metre line out. Really good chance to attack, and seemingly they forget to jump. So France just grab the ball from there. They pluck it out. It's a bit of a weird moment. So execution not 100%. And then on 70 minutes, Finn Russell gets red carded for a forearm to the throat on Brice Dulong. That's the kind of thing that's always getting red carded these days. You've got to keep your arm tucked to your body. You can't have it kind of sticking out. He gets him around the kind of collarbone, throat area, and yeah, he gets red carded. It's at the 70th minute, so it doesn't, in this game's context, it doesn't make much of a difference if it's yellow or red. Obviously, he's going to be suspended, so that makes it worse for him, but at least it wasn't in the early part of the game. It was the final 10 minutes. However, not long later, Serang gets yellow carded anyway, so it's 14 on 14. Bit of madness. At that point, you're kind of realising Wales have got this done. France are not going to win by enough points to win the Six Nations. It's definitely not going to happen. But Scotland have still got a chance to come back and win this game. At 81 minutes, Dulin gets the ball, and he's going to cop a lot of stick for it. He doesn't kick it out. Like, the Scots are on attack, they knock it on. Dulin picks it up. I don't know if he picks it up, but he gets the ball, and he has a clear chance to kick it out. But he doesn't. There's nothing to be gained at 23-20 from France trying to score a try down the other end. They can't win the Six Nations. They can just hold on for the game. They can get a bonus point, but it's not going to make any difference in the scheme of things. They don't kick it out. They concede a penalty. Scotland go on a 20-phase run, and it ends up with Hastings, a long cutout pass. Duhan van der Merwe gets it out on the left wing, cuts back inside, beats Pinot, and goes over for a try, which Hastings goes and converts. So Scotland get a win at the death. A reversal of what happened last week. Dulin goes from the hero who scores the try at the death, and now that role is Duhan van der Merwe. And I'm sure Dulin will cop a bit of stick for not kicking it out, because, as I said, there was nothing to be gained from continuing to play from a French point of view. So, yeah. But a historic victory for the Scots. Take nothing away from them, man. They really came to play. Both sides had their periods of dominance. Like, Scotland kind of bookended it with the start and the finish, whereas the central period of play was largely, more in France's favour. So, proper momentum shifts in this game. Possession 44-56, that's in Scotland's favour. Remember, it was in France's favour in the first half, so that kind of shows you the turnaround. Territory 61-39, also in Scotland's favour. Time in opposition 22. Remember, it was all France in that first half. It ends up being 12 minutes to 6 minutes in Scotland's favour. So that's what I mean about the game turning around. Turnovers won, though, 7-3 in France's favour, so they managed to excel in the area they weren't expected to beat Scotland at. And France's tackling percentage is higher. Line breaks, though, France is 7-2. And individuals, Aldrit runs 106 run meters. He gets 12 out of 13 tackles, so he's a man machine. Dupont was probably a bit more quiet than what we're used to. He's usually a bit more live wire. Olivon makes 16 out of 18 tackles. Nick Hanning, called into the squad for an injured Matt Fagerson, makes 95 run meters. He was making a heap of carries. Richie makes 15 out of 16 tackles as well. Some proper good performances. So the table finishes with Wales on top. They are the only team to go 4-1. 4 wins, 1 loss. There's 3 teams on 3 wins and 2 losses. That's France in second, Ireland in third, and Scotland in fourth. England finished fifth, 2-3, and Italy and none from 6. And if you're Scottish, you got to look back at those home losses to Wales and Ireland and be pretty gutted. You go to Twickenham, you go to Stade de France and get wins. Can't win at home. I don't mean to be a dampener, but what might have been, right? I mean, still, definitely celebrate the win at Twickenham and definitely celebrate this win. But yeah, it's just that inconsistency, which is such a killer. I thought it was the Murrayfield Fortress, and it's kind of switched around, but without crowds, who knows? France, it'll definitely be one to learn from. As I mentioned, the Dulin decision and maybe some others will be talking points, but still a heap of young guys in that French squad, so they will be better for next season, I reckon. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. How did you think this one went? Duhan's try or no try, that'll be a talking point. Dulin's decision to kick or run it back, I don't want to say good or bad decision because I think it was a bad one, but what do you guys reckon? And Russell's card, if you want to talk about that. Scotland, great victory, congratulations. Wales, champions, congratulations. France, good effort. That's 2 years in a row that you've been almost there, but quite. Anyway, you guys have any thoughts? Talk to you guys soon. See you later.